Sometimes you just lose touch with that feeling self inside, and you just want to get your empathy back. Stick around, find out how. Live, trance, and prosper. Hi, I'm Dr. David Phillips, and this week's question is on regaining one's empathy. Received a letter, and some of this I'm going to skip because it's private, but for the most part, here we go. Okay, today, this week's letter or question. Hey Brian, I need some advice. I've lost my empathy. I've become cold and angry and bitter, and I'm so tired of being hurt and wronged and disappointed that I've iced over and built a fortress. I'm trying to find outlets to help others, but running into bureaucratic walls, which doesn't help. I'm trapped and stuck and feel that I can and need to do something to help others, but I'm so lost and confused, I don't know what to do. I have strong draws toward the spiritual path, but get afraid and feel unworthy and don't even know where to start. There are too many things I want to accomplish, and I feel I have so little time and don't want to procrastinate, so I can't focus on any of them. And I've realized recently that I've learned to separate from others and not feel what they do. I read and analyze them, but I don't feel. I feel that the feeling or empathetic part of me has been beaten out, and I want it back. I'm tired of being selfish and inward focused, even though I haven't stabilized internally, but I don't know what to do. That's heavy stuff. It's actually a multiple layered question, and so I'm going to be careful about my response here and go through it piece by piece. Some of this will be appropriate to the questioner. I've already answered that privately, and some of it's going to be appropriate to others who have similar issues. Now you may notice in this particular video, I'm looking down at my notes because I want to make sure that I get things straight for you. All right, so first off, let's get to her. In terms of the idea that you've lost your empathy, I've said this earlier and I'm saying it now, and that is you likely haven't lost your empathy so much as you've hidden it away. It's you're building these walls, this idea that you've become cold and angry and bitter, and you've tired of being hurt and wrong, so you're icing over and building a fortress. For some people, that's less of a loss of empathy than it's a building of a personal walls or a personal response system to environmental pressures. It's a protection defense. It's a protective strategy your unconscious has created in order to protect you from those things that in the past you have felt negative influence from. So you're responding with that wall. It's not so much you're losing your empathy, but you're hiding it away and getting that cold exterior out there. The fact that you're asking for help tells us you likely still got it in there. It's just you've got this negative response set. Now there are a number of things you can do with this probably temporary response pattern. First, you can change your life circumstances, which you've already noted and you've begun working on. Second, reframe the response so you signpost to yourself that it's not a loss of empathy you are experiencing, but a temporary adaptation strategy that your unconscious has created to particular circumstances. Third, change the response pattern. to something that is more ecologically valuable or desirable for you, so that you can return to that loving and open self while continuing to protect yourself from those negative environmental circumstances or others who bring negative energy into your circumstances. They got their own negative baggage, the energy vampires or whatever, emotional issues that they're bringing in. So you can change your adaptation strategy and create some positive anchors or trigger responses which you can rely upon to bring about more positive moods when needed. Kind of a means of stepping in and helping yourself in these issues. Now, you said that you're trying to find some outlets so that you can help others, and you're hitting bureaucratic walls, which doesn't help. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't help, but it's actually not necessary for these bureaucratic or organizational functions for you to get in to start helping folks right away. You can help folks at an individual level, or you can start working, in other words, you can start working on your empathy and your response with folks right away without having to wait for some organization to bless your work. You can start moving in a positive direction right away. For instance, when you're walking down the street, smile at folks. When you see someone in need, make an effort to help them out. For instance, if an older person is carrying a burden, offer to help them carry it. If you see someone in need, you get in there and you help as you can. Or just offer to help, or hold open a door when people are coming through. Smile and hold open doors. Or walk down the street, smile. You can perform small acts of kindness that can be used to make the lives of others a little brighter. And in so doing, you brighten your own life. Because study after study has shown, for most people, helping others makes us feel good. There is a selfish part of helping others. That's why we help others. It makes us feel good. It's not just because of this or that moral imperative. We feel good when others feel good, because when we see others feeling better, we have an empathy response, and that's what you want to work on. So just take small areas where you can start working on that right away, and that can help kickstart your empathy or life joy responses. This is something you can work on right away. And while you're waiting for the organizational, the charity groups or whatever groups you want to work with, you can go through that, but you don't have to wait for that to be helping people, to be kind to others. Now, I have complete faith that our original respondent, querent, knows how to find different ways to make people feel good. She is an intelligent young woman. However, you can also take a look at, there's a really nice collection book that you can check out. This is a book from Danny Wallace called Random Acts of Kindness. Danny Wallace and his Karma Army, of course. You can consider that. It's got 365 ways to make the world a happier place, a nicer place rather than happy. But it's a nice little book. Has little things you can do to help folks. Random Acts of Kindness is the title of the book. Random Acts of Kindness. I do recommend it. You don't need this book to do nice things for others, and some of them are very specific to different areas. But there's, for instance, here's one. On a sunny day, give someone a pair of sunglasses. Pay for an extra game at a bowling alley for some strangers. Random acts of kindness that you do just to brighten someone else's day. And that gets you started. No, you're not going to be a saint because you've done these things. Of course not. But you are going to find that you feel better about yourself because you've done these random things. Or if you're a member of my Facebook group, the Experiential Hypnosis and Beyond, we sometimes call these kind of activities reality adjustment. And this is a positive one. So consider that. Now, as to the 4 strategies I mentioned earlier, the first one was changing your life circumstances. You've already noted that, and you're already working on it, the idea of focusing that I want to do more good things, and I'm going through bureaucratic approaches that are kind of an iffy thing, but I want an organizational approach. Those are good. Charities you can work with. There are some other things you can do. Changing your life circumstances can mean anything from changing your routine to your living situation, or the like, to big things like your location or your work or your friends or the like. It doesn't have to be giant changes, although certainly if there are people in your life who kind of reinforce negative behaviors or feelings, then you're going to have to decide if you can change how you respond to them, or if you need to move on to new friends or new acquaintances, people you live around and with, who can reinforce those positive things. Of course, that depends on your circumstance and your ability, but you can do that. It can also be really simple. Changing your life circumstances can be something as simple as smile more. Yay! Genuinely smile, not those fake, just in the lip smiles. But a genuine smile, yay! That has the crow's feet going and the wrinkles on the forehead. The whole face is engaged in a real smile, not those fake things. But real smiles. Work on that. Smile more. And also take a moment to breathe. Breathing is good. Breathing is always good. Just a pause and a breath in deeply. Breathe in deeply. Hold it for a moment as if you're breathing in positive energy, or love, or joy, and then breathe out, slowly letting go of the negativity and things like that. If you're familiar with the garbage can, you can do the garbage can. But just 4 or 5 deep, loving, caring breaths a few times a day can be incredibly helpful to people. Number 2, reframing that response, so you signpost to yourself it's not a loss of empathy, but you're experiencing a temporary adaptation strategy that your unconscious mind has created for particular circumstances. Reframing can be as simple as that. Now you can also do a bit more with that, and that's going to go into 3, changing the response pattern to something that's more ecologically desirable to you, so that you can return to that loving and open self while continuing to protect yourself from those negative circumstances or people. All right? Now, how do you do that? That can be as simple as something as along the lines of what's called the 6-step reframe, such as the one in my audio recording at the webpage, and I'll put a link in the blog post that accompanies this video, so you can check out that audio recording, or you can check out the webinar that I've got on the same subject of reframing and how to do it. Either way, it's a simple matter of going inside yourself and engaging the creative part of your inner mind to come up with alternative behaviors or responses to the stimulus patterns that you've been working with, so that you can ecologically deal with those negative circumstances or input while reinvigorating your empathy response and kickstart that joy to loving living again. That's changing the response pattern. And you can do that. I know for a fact that the person that asked this question can do it, because I've seen her do good stuff. Now, fourth, creating some positive anchors and trigger response sets. Well, you can rely upon those instead of the negative responses you have. Also, you can create a trigger that you can play with, so that you can set, so while you're working on a genuine, natural empathy response, you've got something you can set for yourself. Essentially, you're becoming both your own Pavlov and your own Pavlov's dog, while you condition yourself and set up a positive mood anchor for yourself. It's not unlike what we do with clickers in some of my other work. If you're familiar with my website and my YouTube channel, then you know what I mean by clickers, or audio pleasure devices, or acoustic pleasure devices, sorry. There's a lot of approaches to this sort of thing, some straightforward ones, but you can also take a look at the webinar on anchoring on my web pages or elsewhere. Obviously, you don't have to use my resources. There are plenty of places on the web with similar information if you prefer. Or you can make an appointment and work with someone in person if the person is available to work with in your area. I know our respondent doesn't have anyone close by they can work with. And so I'm giving mostly information on working for oneself, or that she can work with others who guide her in a valuable way. And so there's that. Now, in this bit where you talk about feeling trapped and needing to help others, but you feel stuck and confused and lost, there's really nothing stopping you from helping others. Even a smile or a friendly greeting or a nod can do wonders to brighten a moment or a day, or sometimes even a life of a stranger. Those small, simple kindnesses. You don't need an official stamp from some organization to do that. While you're waiting for that official stamp, go ahead and check out doing some random acts of kindness or some pay it forward kind of activities. You are drawn to a spiritual path, and that's fine. You have self-doubt about your worthiness. That's fine. Actually, no one feels worthy all the time, and I would personally suggest very strongly that people who do feel I am worthy all the time, well, they got some issues they may not be aware of, or they may be full of themselves, because that's just not how humans work. You're never full of all that confidence all the time. Even the worthy of worthies has issues in their lives, because we're human. We're all prone to weaknesses, and sometimes we fail. Sometimes we fall from grace. The trick is to pull your ass back up and get back on that path. Instead of waiting until you're good enough, get yourself in gear and go ahead and start. Just do something, anything to get started. Yes, you've got a long-term goal. That's awesome. That's great. Yes, there's a number of things you would like to work on. That's great. That's awesome. Choose one and get going. And once you get in gear, instead of thinking about it, you'll be living it. And you'll find that you make those positive changes so much more easily, so much more readily. So get in there and get started and let the rest come as it comes. Okay, this is important. You say you want your empathy back. Have you felt self-love and empathy before? And feelings toward others at any time in the past? Here's a hint. The answer is yes. Okay. You want it back. That tells us you've had it before. So, check out some of that information on anchoring, such as what I posted before. A random search on my webpage will also give you, just a search for anchoring will give you a whole bunch of resources and videos of me running the pattern of anchoring on different folks. So just go to my webpage and check out that stuff. And a lot of it's free. I'm not telling you this to get you to buy my stuff. I'm happy when people buy my stuff. Buy my stuff! But you don't have to in this case, okay? I got a lot of free stuff, and other people have stuff too. Some of them are very competent, so you can manage, you can be okay, but check it out. One thing I'd like you to do is just sit down and think of a time when you felt what you're describing as empathy, but really it's not just empathy, it's a complex part of your life. It's a feeling that you're trying to revivify, okay? We'll call it empathy, and we'll go ahead with that. Now, what I'd like you to do is just sit comfortably and close your eyes and remember a time you felt empathy. And then feel that empathy. Don't just think about it, but feel the feelings you have in that time. And then when you got those feelings, use your creative imagination and breathe in. I find if I breathe in and imagine those feelings getting stronger, it tends to help. And then either touch two fingers together or whatever, maybe touch yourself in a particular way while you're feeling those feelings, okay? Oh, there it is. And tell yourself that as you touch yourself, those feelings get stronger, okay? And once you've got it, once you set it, connect the touch to the feeling, break it. Open your eyes, stop touching, and close your eyes and repeat. Find another time, not the same time, another time that you felt those feelings, and do that again. And tell yourself anytime you just like a simple breathe in and touch yourself in that particular way, you have those feelings. You're essentially conditioning yourself. You're training a response for that. And you'll find that most folks only need to do it a few times, 3 or 4 times, and they've said it. And each time you do it, you practice it, you'll find that that feeling gets stronger. Some folks need more practice with others, but it's very easy. Humans can condition themselves. Very straightforward stuff. Go ahead and do that. And that's a nice little technique you can use when you want to feel connected to people in a room. You're in the room, you say, I really would, this circumstance, I'd like to feel more connection, and just fire that off. Oh yeah, I breathe in and I touch myself, and there it is. I hope that's helpful. Please remember to click subscribe so that you can get noticed when we have new videos of this type, or other videos as well. Join us on Tuesdays when we have news from the hypnosis community as well as rants. Sometimes I rant. Wednesdays, well, that's question time. That's when I answer your questions. So be sure to comment and let us know your thoughts and questions, and maybe I'll make a video of your question. Thursdays, well, that's a special day. That's trance time. That's when I guide you through a trance experience. Enough talking about trance, let's do some! Once a month, I have a webinar or lecture or something along those lines, which is a bit longer and interactive. Be sure to check out our web pages so you can know when we have something along those lines coming up soon that you can participate in. And if you attend the live webinar, that is, you're there with us, it's interactive, so you can ask questions and make comments right then. Most importantly, click subscribe. Be sure to like the video as well and comment and give us your suggestions and all that good stuff. And most importantly, right now, this is Dr. Brian David Phillips saying, live trance and prosper. Bye-bye.